Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cold for episode 176 of On the Backs of Gods. I am your DM, Jillian, and we have our players here today. Same as always, we have Kyle, Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. I think we'll go ahead and jump into our recap, mostly for my benefit, so I can remember what happened last time. And I think we can jump into things. Ooh. Last time, it would have been smart to look at this before, wouldn't it have? So last time you guys had a little bit of a confrontation with Russ, Nyx's very recent husband, who was consumed mentally by the forest and became a bit aggressive and very interested in making deals with hags. And nobody seemed on board with that, which is, fine if you don't want to. And after a lot of hullabaloo and a lot of splitting of the party, Russ is eventually turned into a snail, and Nyx and Russ go back to Dem Woods and leave the brushwood behind for a moment, while Roshan, Fen, and Nana are back in the forest after Fen had just, I think, a solid 10 minutes of not being in the forest, and he's back in again. And the third split of this is Keld, who decided he was not going to try and keep up with what is Russ and the ungodly speed at which he was moving, and stayed behind to put on his armor, which takes 10 minutes. And boy, howdy, did it take him a session and then some to get on some armor. But Nyx spends some time with Russ after he comes out of his snail form and seems still compelled by the forest. Keeps referring to her while they are trapped inside of this containment box, this place for solo prayer. Refers to her as Quinn and keeps touching her stomach and implies that he does not think the party cares about Nyx or him, and that they won't do enough to save her. And that's why he had to step in. And he, as you saw, was very willing to give anything to this hag. But eventually, Nyx decides staying in there can only do so much, and she leaves Russ to his own devices, which is bloodying himself against the door to try and leave to return to the woods, as he is compelled to do. Nyx leaves to go home with her mother, and the rest of the party, sans Keld, sits at the base of the tree and tries to be cool, tries to be chill, and has a bad time. The amount of energy they exert just trying to be cool and chill drains a lot of them of their resources, and they have a bad time because the woods are bad. Keld gets his armor on. We're so proud of him. AC, back up. And he ends up having a vision of the woods shifting before him, and he knows he's being presented with an option of fully giving into the woods or not, accepting the woods' help fully or not. And Keld decides to take that leap and fully accepts the woods and hands himself over mentally, being at the same level of corruption as Russ, but does not seem as broken. And at this time, Keld is able to communicate directly with the forest, can feel the forest directly, and can find the direction of whatever he wants, as long as it is in the woods and under the influence of the woods. And he could locate Roshan. He could not locate Nyx, who is no longer in the brushwood. And he could locate the lurk. And so Keld goes straight to the hag and is like, sorry, team. That's where the forest wants me to go. And so Keld goes off on his own, informs Roshan when Roshan gives a little ring that he's like, hey, you guys chill. I gotta go do stuff. And also
No,
a side note. Uh-huh.
no, he said, I'm coming to you. Don't worry. And then and then the shit happened where he dissociated and he's like,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah, we didn't find out that he had changed his mind until a
Oh,
while later.
well, and then the forest said, sit the fuck down. And
Yeah.
and everyone said, under.
Oh no. Did she freeze for anybody else?
The
Yep.
forest said under.
And then Fen said,
Understood.
what? Am I here?
You're
Yes.
You're
back.
here. We got you. The forest said
I can.
under, and that was the way we got him.
I said the forest said sit the fuck down, and
Mhm.
and then everybody sat the fuck down, and then Fen said I could go die in the woods, and everyone said shut up, Fen,
Didn't
and
do that.
and everybody took a seat and is currently waiting as Keld trudges his way off on his own towards the lurk. Nyx back at home, and the rest of the party sitting by the tree that she left through. And that's where I'd like to start, is at the tree that Nyx left through, where Roshan, Nana, and Fen currently sit. I just scrolled up so I could remember what happened last time. There we go. Roshan, I'd like to do a couple things through your perspective. As you can see a couple things everybody else can't. The first thing you notice is this feminine aspect of the shadow that had made its way over to Nana is not returning to the main shadow. It is currently staying near Nana and is just occupying that space. Does not seem interested currently in returning to Shadow Prime. And I will say all of you are aware of like a slight like warmth in the space. But once again, you're in a weird, terrible forest. You can
Mhm.
attribute it to whatever you want to attribute it to.
Senses are weird in here.
Yeah,
Feels like
there's
we're
occasional.
drowning.
Yeah, it does. The air is thick and consuming at the same time.
Mm.
Um, you are filled with it and it is consuming you.
Hmm.
And Roshan, currently, there's a bit on the edges of your periphery, just movements of shadow. And because of your check last session, you are aware that you are under the influence of the forest. That is something you are now hyper aware of. You're like, I know that I'm being affected, but that doesn't make what I'm seeing any less real. And as your mind kind of veers into this space, it's almost as if a gentle hand pushes it in another direction. A nagging feeling that kind of tugs at the edges of your mind, kind of similar to the visions that you see. This one, more mental, more thought. And that idea lands on Fen. What is Fen's game? First, he publicly berates you at the edge of the brushwood. He calls you spineless and he calls you untrustworthy. And then you're reminded of a fight with a large worm where he accused you of the same thing. Now, he doubles down and tries to send you away. So he can what? Become mulch? Is that the game plan? There is no other way that you can look at this. He thinks you're incompetent. He thinks you are incapable. Would he rather die than accomplish a goal with you? Your sister is here in these woods and he tries to send you away. If Fen's goal is to die, then he could easily, and there is that bit of sanity that grabs onto your thoughts as they begin to spiral. And you are able to rein yourself in. You know the forest nips at your mind, this visceral sensation. But is it wrong? Is there anything you guys would like to accomplish as you sit at the base of this tree?
Look, I just would like to know. The only reason we're staying here is because this is the last tree that Nyx passed through. And so far as I know, her ability requires her to use the same trees she's used before, unless She gets a very good description of another one or sees it or something. So when can we expect her through this tree again? The next hour? 2, 3?
Unless she pulls out some magic she's been hiding, I don't think she's coming back today.
You did. I.
And I think Roshan is quietly
complete.
seething and holding his worry stone, but like scratching it because he's angry and affected by the forest. I think I'm almost tapped for resources, but we know where Keld is, or at least a direction. I don't think Nyx can get back to us. Do we just follow Keld? Or do we wait?
I don't think we have the luxury of waiting. I really don't. I don't like this. Keld told us to wait. And then we were left in the dark for how long before we had to reach out to him again, only to find out he was off on his own? I mean, maybe the forest is doing something. Maybe. But
well, it's obvious the forest is doing something. It spoke to me at the same time that he spoke to me. I'll let Nyx know that we have to follow him and
get any
maybe
kind
she'll
of...
tell us to stop, that she's working on something to get back, but
Sure.
okay.
If you can find out if there's anything that she can recommend for us going in this far, or if her parents might know anything. I don't think that we're going to be able to trust her very much, but just experience and each other.
We need Nyx not to step through this tree to no one here waiting for her.
Yeah.
If she can't open it back up, then she's in the same situation that Keld's in now, the same situation that Rose is in now. You're all right. You're both right. We shouldn't be alone out here, but we're leaving Keld to be alone. We're staying here. We're losing a day of letting Rose be alone.
I don't think we've got a day left in us.
Yeah.
You're ready to throw yourself out into the forest and let it kill you. I don't have any way of defending myself against the forest right now. We are teetering and we cannot make it through the end of the night, is my opinion.
We
Feels
don't
about right.
stand a fighting chance sitting here doing nothing. The more of us that we find, if we find Rose and bring her with us, that's more strength to us. If we find Keld and reunite with him, that's strength. But we can't let Nyx step through that tree with no one waiting to receive her.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we solve her illness if she's not with us either. So
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Let's just let her know that we need to leave the tree first, and if she can make a recommendation from there, let's hear it.
Okay. Roshan will message Nyx. Hope she's having a great time. And he'll say, your brother passed us by. I don't think he's entirely himself. I don't think we can stay here and hope to be ourselves tomorrow.
That's it. Nix, you are currently sitting on your couch. Your mother is over in the kitchen nook, currently heating up water for tea, and you receive this message.
Great.
I would have added, hope you're well.
No,
Not enough
not even
characters. Not
there.
enough.
I think at that point she was just sitting there listening to see if she could hear the screaming in the background the whole time. And is now hit with this. What do you mean he left? Roshan, please, you have to find. He can't be out there alone. I'll find you tomorrow. Just go. It cuts off. It is
Yeah.
sobbing on this couch.
Nix seems confident she'll be able to find us tomorrow.
All right. Then
Before we go, I would like to. I'd like to ask the forest, the lurk, whatever this is, to allow us
passage, at least.
Is that okay?
I don't see why not. I don't think we've tried it yet.
We're in its territory. If you're confident that's not going to just put a light onto us and tell it more where the invaders are, if you think that asking permission is like to do anything, it's the polite thing to do. We don't belong here.
Mhm. Let's give it a shot.
Okay. And Roshan will use his final spell slot. It's like 10 a.m. and here we are.
Oh boy.
Maybe 9 a.m. because
Does
we
he-
just woke up.
Does
Yeah.
he tell the party that this is his final spell slot?
I
He's-
mean, he doesn't speak in those terms, but he did say he was
Nearly completely tapped
yeah.
out of resources. Unable to defend himself.
Not unable to defend himself. He's
From
not
the
a
forest, at
baby.
least.
Hands.
From the forest.
Um,
The branches and things.
he will reach out to he thinks first to his sister and whatever it was that he was talking to when she tried to convince him that she was going to be okay and that he could open the tree and just pull her through. And he also thinks of the voice that spoke to him when he reached out to Keld. And he'll send ascending to whoever that is. Hopefully, it's the same person. We're flying by the seat of our pants here. And he'll say, I don't believe I'm talking to my sister or Keld. Whoever this is, I greet you and I bid you grant us safe passage to you. I had that one counted out.
Oh, look at you. You reach out to something so minute and so incredibly massive. And the tether of your magic is grabbed. This voice that you sent out, this missive, is snatched and held onto while you are still attached to it. It sucks the air from the lungs and the thoughts from your mind and the beat from your heart as you are held by something in the ether. You are at the mercy of the brushwood. The rest of you watch as Roshan's eyes go completely white as he sends this message and his eyes roll back and are bright.
Roshan?
You can't hear. Yeah, it's
Nope.
very much
It's a
that kind of
bleh.
scenario.
Oh boy.
It's very much that. Roshan, you do not hear words, but you are presented with the forest, not speaking to you in common or language, but with ideas, I suppose, of consequences. You are presented with a vision of immediate safe passage, a visible path through the forest, blindingly before you, a way forward. And you just get this grip on your throat and twist in your stomach. Why should I let you? This sending is being held open. Why should you be given safe passage?
And Roshan, with all of his gumption's the wrong word, with all of his conviction, says, we have more to offer than addled minds and broken bodies.
Okay. I would like a persuasion check. I'm giving you advantage because I like the words you said, but you have disadvantage on all skill checks, so it's a straight roll.
Gotta kiss the Katie dice. Treat me
Give
well.
a kiss.
And that's a 16, so good,
Oof.
plus
Mm-hmm.
11. 27.
You give me, see, I want to give you advantage, but I can't. Give me insight, straight roll.
22.
Okay. You, once again, this is not speaking in words, so it is all feeling and concept. There is something that you can see is like, this is the path. You can walk it. How interesting. I like what you're telling me. And there is something that viscerally is against it. There are two minds. One is allowing you passage, one is not. Though the one that is not doesn't feel as loud. And the tether is lit. And your eyes uncloud, and you are back in the forest, presented to you as it normally is.
Bro? Are you okay?
Yeah.
What happened?
Whatever the forest is not of a single mind. It is within itself conflict. But I think I know the way.
Okay.
I was given visions of where to go, and I think that's our best option.
All right. Well, what can we do? How can we How can we make this easy? We haven't really been able to work our ranger business as normal prior to this. Does this mean we can just walk, or should
Fen
we blindfold, or?
Fen pries the pearl of power off of his gorget and gives it to Roshan. Lead the way.
I think Roshan feels the possibility within it, and will start looking for signs of the visions that he had to lead him deeper in.
Okay. You have a pretty good sense, and you were at least also given idea of Keld's location. So as the forest seems, the word inviting is not correct. But you do know the direction of Keld, and you were given vision of safe passage. Nothing about the path towards Keld seems wrong to you, besides the baseline, you know. But you feel you've been given the best go-ahead you can, and you think that's the way, is Keld is going the right way.
Okay.
Then Roshan will use the ring to give him kind of the general direction without keeping eyes out on the forest, because she doesn't like to be looked at.
Don't look at me.
She does not want to be perceived.
Well, maybe a little bit.
And then if the ring leads us toward kind of a fork in the roads, then Roshan will use the visions to hopefully guide him in the better direction.
Ruin has come to our
Here's my
family.
question. So it sounds like nobody is leading through their survival instincts. Roshan is leading fully based on the direction of the ring. So he is not looking out, he is looking in and moving forward.
Yeah.
Is everybody else stepping in line and following suit? Or are people untrusting of the forest and doing perception checks?
I think Fen has just given himself over to Roshan. Fen just gave his last spell slot to replace Roshan's last spell slot. He's focused on making sure Roshan is safe. So he's following Roshan, watching for him, catch him if he stumbles. Like, he's followed Fen and Nana through so many dark forests that like Fen's got to like fall in line and do. He's got to just trust Roshan at this point. Like, he needs to trust that Roshan's going to do this, and that's what he's doing. So he's looking at Roshan's back and like there to catch him if he falls.
Okay. You all begin to make your way forward. Yeah. Roshan, out of the, you can just feel the shadow. It follows in suit, keeping close to you. One of them, not as close to you and closer to Nana, staying near her, radiating around her as you all begin to move through the forest in the direction of Keld. Speaking of Keld. Keld! You are following your intent to locate the lurk led by the brushwood. That is still your intent, correct?
Yes.
Okay. As you are at a 4th level of corruption, I would like to tell you your current effects. As Roshan has a disadvantage at like perception, Nana has to thieve, Fen sick and itchy, the normal stuff. I should tell you what you are, is you are at a 4th level. You have advantage on all charisma, wisdom, and dexterity-based checks in regards to the forest and its denizens. You have denizens.
No, you froze again. You
No,
have
I feel
it was the
I'm
end of
I'm here.
was good. Never mind. Never mind.
I'm great and perfect.
That you are.
But I will say disadvantage on all strength checks and attack rolls against the forest and its denizens. When attempting to locate an object or creature within the brushwood, you know the direction that it is in. I've already told you what the fourth thing is. I will let you keep that to yourself. You are currently making your way through the brushwood. You walk at a steady pace along a path provided for you. At this time, Roshan's sending is a bit of a distant memory, and all that there is the forest, and it is awe-inspiring and terrifying, scary,
Oh, God.
terrifying. And you can feel the heartbeat of the forest beneath your feet, and it radiates through your body. You watch at alarming rates the plants bloom around you, and saplings rise and leaves green, and then rot consumes mushrooms, maggots, mulch. You watch the cycle over and over again as you walk. Rocks crumple into imperceivable specks and mix with the decay and fill out the dirt beneath your feet over time. The shadows in your periphery and in the depths of the woods wriggle and twist in the distance, constantly moving. You watch the snow melt and the rains come and the puddles dry up, and then the snow comes again as you trudge forward. You are unsure if minutes have passed or centuries. And then the snap of a twig kind of pulls you out of this. And your focus is kind of pulled away from pursuing the lurk. And as you turn your head, you see approaching from the bushes an abomination of flesh and nature, something corrupted moving through the bushes towards you. It is of ichor and bone twisted together in a mass of vine. This blob only given shape by the vines that like cinch its body together in some semblance of a being that maybe it once was. And as it takes note of you, it is driven into the dirt by a long, scraggling entity, blunt teeth, no scalp, flat head, digs its teeth into it and begins to rip and or something similar, the same as the cloak you once fought. And this immediately jumps on this corrupted entity and begins to rip it apart and pays you no mind. Would you like to keep pushing forward?
Yeah, we're gonna try to
Okay.
just move past that.
Okay. And you turn your focus back to the forest and you keep walking. I'd like to veer over to Nyx. Nyx, as you weep on the couch, pins and needles. Your body is pins and needles where the ice coats it. Your shoulder is numb and throbbing. Your one eye waters. It's irritated and it's becoming stiff. Your joints in your arm and your fingers begin to ache. Terribly strong emotions course through you. And there is nothing to dampen those. You have experienced many a complicated emotion very rapidly in a short amount of time. So I'm going to lay out what is going to happen before you. So we all know what's happening here. We are going to roll to see what parts of your body become affected by this growing curse. So you are going to roll a d6 4 times for the 4 times your emotions were heightened in this short period of time. Here's the thing. I'm going to be very straightforward with you about this as well. You do not want to get the same number more than once. Many of these are going to cripple you. And doubling them will make it even worse. I'm going to inform you that the number 6 is the worst number you could get. If you get 6 3 times, the consequences will be dire. So I would like to roll 1d6 at a time. Let's make our way through, shall we? First d6, please.
That's great. We use a different die for each one. Give them
Oh,
all
perfect.
a chance.
Yeah.
Where will you get all those dice?
My tray.
Okay.
And also at
My bins.
dragonanddice.com.
No, I don't need
Are we
to do
doing?
that.
I was like, are we doing a plug
Oh.
when I kill Katie? Well, if Katie
Yeah.
dies, you guys can do a plug. If Nyx
Yeah.
dies,
I
you can do a
die.
plug.
That seems only fair.
That
If
seems
I
only fair.
die, someone
Okay.
buys out the website if I die.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody has to buy all the dice. It's the law.
Goodness sake.
It'll be
All right.
me.
Right.
First die.
First d6.
5.
Okay.
3.
3.
2. Okay.
Okay.
They're being kind.
It is
Ish,
very nice of them.
in a way.
It's all very bad, but it is nice.
Yes. Oh, there's the 6. Great. Good.
Okay.
Good.
And okay.
No doubles.
No doubles. I'm going to start off by telling you your character at this moment is being affected by a curse that's intent is to kill them. Your character is very hampered by what's about to happen. It is sad and unfair. And that's what the curse is. Let's talk about what happened. The first thing you feel is pain in your stomach. This is the first time you've felt pain internally from this curse. You feel it has moved beneath the skin and is starting to infect internal organs. Because it is affecting internal organs, it is a new pain sensation. A terrible one. As whatever this is, this ice begins to coat you. Here are the effects of the internal damage. You get half hit points from non-magical means. So if you take a long rest or a short rest, you only get back half health. You have the inability to eat, causing exhaustion each morning. If you roll a nat 1 on your turns in combat, your turn ends immediately. You are vulnerable to poison, thunder, and lightning damage. I'll go to that one last. Your arm. The most polite way I can put this is that it is unusable. There is no bend, there is no give, it is ice. You have disadvantage on strength checks and saving throws. You can only wield one object at a time, and that object need be one-handed. You cannot do an object interaction while wielding an item. Next. As you feel the ice has moved into your stomach and you can feel it like against your ribs, and just what a horrible sensation it is. The amount of ice that had already accumulated on your face. You can feel it move into your jaw and your ear, and you can feel it against your skull. It is putting pressure against your brain. It immediately causes a headache, and you can feel that you will have bouts of confusion and memory loss. It is actively affecting the way you think. You have disadvantage on intelligence and wisdom checks and saving throws. Every time you make a wisdom check or intelligence check, you have the poisoned condition for 1 minute. And then 6. Here's the rub. Some of these things may overlap. We can disregard them unless it says otherwise. Ice rockets across your stomach and your chest and your back, across under your chin, and you can feel it beginning to clump in your hair. It begins for the first time to make its way down your leg and across your hips. This is affecting your body, the entirety of your body. You have disadvantage on dexterity, strength, wisdom, and intelligence checks. And saving throws. If you already have an effect causing disadvantage in those areas, you also get a -5. Your HP maximum is decreased by half. You are vulnerable to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage and thunder damage. If you are crit with a bludgeoning damage, you will roll a Constitution saving throw, or you will lose the body part affected. All fire damage is taken from your hit point maximum. If you reach 0 by these means, you will die. Can you tell me things from maybe Nyx's perspective?
I think she's just sitting there trying to calm herself down because she can feel it growing and knows that her panicking because of everything is what is making it worse and is going through a spiral, and that's what's causing them to keep going over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's gonna try to stumble up and go over to her mom. It's getting. I don't know if we're gonna be able to stop this.
Your mom, kind of currently beginning to steep leaves, turns and looks at you, and the immediate horror and panic when she looks at you. And you could just, the words taken from her mouth as she grabs on to your shoulder. I'll start a fire. Let's go sit by it and.
Well, it's not gonna help.
I don't know what to do.
Either. I can't even get back out there till tomorrow, and I told them I was gonna find. I don't know if I can actually find them without.
Nyx, would you like to sit down so I can make you some tea and we could sit together? Okay. Let me get you a couple blankets. And you watch your mother, the pinnacle of emotional strength, a woman who is very aware there is nothing she can do, goes to get you blankets and makes you tea. And she sits with you. Meanwhile, held. You trudge forward through the forest. Could you maybe give me a look into what Keld's thinking or feeling or some intent? Or is it just hyper focus? Where is he right now mentally?
Well, I feel like it definitely started out as hyper focus.
Mhm.
Yeah, he has one reason to be here, and that's to help his sister. So in order to do that, he has to find the lurk. But with all of this that he's seeing around him, I'm sure that's a bit of a distraction.
Mhm.
This weird
Yeah.
timey-wimey wibbly wobbly.
It's definitely informing you that you are affected in some way. But that is something to be expected as you fully gave yourself over to the forest. And you don't know if what you are seeing is what your mind is creating, or if this is what the forest actually is, or if this is what the forest dreams to be, but you are being given a full show by whatever this is. Just the constant movement of plants and the endless cycle of life and death over and over and over and over again as you walk through the forest. And there's another snap of a twig,
Mm.
and it draws your eyes forward. And the sound of laughter. You look forward and you see a small furbolg boy, about 6 years old, bundled up for winter, trudging through the forest. It's you.
Hmm.
You trudge ahead and through. The young Keld makes his way excitedly forward. What do you do?
I think I'll just keep pace behind him.
Okay. You follow behind him, yourself, whatever this may
Me.
be. And you pursue, and he does keep distance from you. Even with his tiny little legs, just seems to always be slightly ahead of you.
Hmm.
Until he's not.
Hmm.
And you stand before, at what you can only assume is his perspective. A much smaller being, a child's height, as you stare, as you step into a clearing at the frozen lake. You were able to visit the lake today because the other kids were able to go to the lake. You know, safety in numbers. So you make your way over, and this is the best and safest time you could do it. You waited for this. You heard that this is where some cool rocks are, and you finally get to go see those.
Hmm.
You see that everyone sticks to the edges. Some kids throw and slide rocks and sticks across the ice. It's fun. And there's this warbling sound when like rocks and sticks slide across the ice that fills the space, this wub 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 sound as you move into the area with all the other kids. And you see it. A beautiful rock sitting on the ice. Just a little further out than you've ever been on the ice before. Not a lot, just a little. And you can hear your parents' voices as they make their way towards the lake. They're not letting all the kids go out here by themselves to have too much of a hullabaloo. So you know your parents are just around the corner, but you know they're not going to let you go take those extra steps out to go get that rock. So you have to be quick. And you'll be careful. And you waddle your way onto the ice, and you are plunged into darkness. In that dream you had, the same darkness. Your winter clothes weigh you down, and your lungs burn as they had in that vision. And you put all your strength into kicking, and you reach up, and you hit ice. And that's all the strength you really had. Ice above, darkness below, and that's when the panic and fear set in. You can see shadows moving above the ice, muffled shouting, and you watch as the ice begins to crack above you. And below you, burning white eyes in the darkness. And your vision begins to blur, and you can see the ice crack and bend, and you can almost hear the shouting louder and louder as something grabs your ankle. Bony fingers grip onto your leg as you have sunk further and further away from the ice. And you watch as it cracks above, and the sun is able to spill in, and your father's hand plunges into the water, and it is miles away. And you stare up at it as the hand gripping your leg pushes you upwards, and you are pulled from the water by your father, and you are back in the woods, shivering and shaking as if you yourself had been pulled from the water. You watch as your new moth friend flutters by ahead of you and lands on a tree, and the forest floor is different. It is now fissured by winding rivulets of icy water. There are twigs twisted with twine, bones, bits of what looks like tools and armor, wrapped around trees, hanging from branches, stuck into the mud. And it all makes this dull clicking and clacking sound above you. And then your eyes catch focus. Standing before you, situated beneath an arbor of dead foliage, is a figure of tightly wound twig and vine, featureless and bare, exactly your height. You stared in effigy of yourself. And instinctually, led by the forest and your own mind, you know that you have changed so much since the last time you were here. You don't even remember it. Who are you, Keld? That is what is being presented to you. Who are you as you stare at this bare display that is you? This is your effigy, and you need to decorate it. You need to make an altar to a man who is worthy enough to stand before the brushwood. You can use what's around you. You can use the items that you have on your person. But you need to show on this effigy who you are and why you deserve to be here. You need to display this for the forest. You do not know if these things will be taken from you. You do not know if they stay here forever or if you can retrieve them later. But you know that this is important. You know this is your ticket in. And Keld, you have all the time in the world. As we shift over to 3 people staring at a ring and jogging through the woods. 3 people jogging real fast through the woods. And by real fast, I mean, they're doing their best.
Yeah.
When you're not actively looking outwards, it is a bit hard, But so far, even though you can hear the sounds of entities and monsters and the crack of ice under your foot, visions in the corners of your eyes, what's real and what isn't, but you push forward, led by a ring that you hope is pointing in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way forward. And the further you walk, it's like static on the back of your neck, moves up into your jaw and through your teeth, behind your eyes. It is an unnatural feeling here. It is something that feels like it seeps into the bone on occasion when you let it. And you have to focus to keep it out, breathing in this air like water. And you see that the forest floor begins to change. It looks different. Veins of water snake their way through the woods, some actively moving, some stagnant. You find finding solid ground difficult as you have to begin trudging through the water and the mud. It's time for a skill challenge.
Oh, God. Oh, boy.
So you used your boon, so that's no longer in play.
Correct.
Your goal is to navigate the water and move forward efficiently.
Okay.
You need to get okay. Give me a second. Nope. All right. You need to achieve one. Yeah. 5 successes before 2 failures. What are we doing?
Anybody mind if I attempt an opening volley?
Nope.
So you.
Well, I have a plus 12 to perception. Nana is not going to be looking out into these horrible, horrible woods very much. So mainly her perception is focused on the path as we are taking it, trying to keep an eye on where Roshan's boots are pointed and like a couple feet ahead of that, like trying to gauge like a safe trajectory that will get us more dry land to cross on than not, as best as she's able to advise.
Okay. As a reminder, if you are able, using abilities and spells, which I know some of you do not have, can lower the DC. It's going to be a DC 20 perception check at this time. Before you roll, I would like to present something to the team, and you can tell me if you would like this to be implemented, because it hasn't before, and I'm not going to make the choice. I'd like it to be decided by you guys.
Okay.
You have been known to roll many a nat 20 during these, but you've also been known to roll some nat 1s. Would you be interested? Your 20s equaling 2 successes, keeping in mind that if you roll 1 nat 1, you immediately fail, as you only have 2 failures available. But, you know, I'm presenting this to you if you would like it or not to be included before we start rolling.
Yes.
You think that that's a good gamble for us to go for?
I think it's fun.
Well,
I defer to the others.
I mean, fun's one way of putting it, my bud, but all right, yeah, sure. Honestly, I am enticed by the idea of the nat 20 being a pair of successes. Just don't get mad at me if it's me who rolls the nat 1, because that's been pretty consistent in the past. So, yeah, let's go for it. Let's do that. I'm
Okay.
frantically browsing over my abilities to see if there's anything that I would like to try and tap in order to assist with this, but most of my stuff is like creature-based actions and things. And I haven't got a hell of a lot of spell slots either. Tell you what though, Forrest hasn't been very happy with me for using magic in the past, but we're in a dicey situation, so I think she's going to try to cast enhance ability. I think she will use Owl's Wisdom on Roshan in order to grant him advantage on wisdom checks, which wisdom is the controlling thing for perception, which is how I'm saying I'm using my perception skill in this case. I am trying to assist Roshan in being better able to perceive a safe path as we go forward.
Okay. Would you like to use the advantage, or do you want to save it for Roshan? If he also does a perception check, there's other wisdom skills, but if he also does a perception check, the DC is higher. So you could use it now. I will allow that as you assisting Roshan, and you can
Okay.
take the advantage, but you could also save it for him. It's up to you.
I'll save it for him because he can make use of it with other wisdom related checks.
Oh, he gets to roll a straight check when he goes.
There you go. But yeah, I've got my perception and I am rolling for that.
Okay.
That is okay, hun. 13 on the dice plus 12, 25.
All right. That is one success.
Yep.
Roshan, you feel a bit emboldened in this terrible place that wishes to unbolden you. And you continue to push forward with the help of your friends. And you continue to trudge forward. Who's next?
I would like to roll either nature or survival for finding the best path through here. I have nothing to add to the roll.
That would be survival. That's
yeah.
where I would lead.
Okay.
DC 20.
Okay. It's 10 on the dice, and I've got at least 10 to the skills. So yeah, survival's plus 12, so 22.
Okay. You guys are navigating. There's a rare occasion your foot does begin to dip into the water, but either somebody is there to grab you, or you are close enough to a tree or branch or root that you are able to stop yourself from stepping in too deep, and you continue to progress unhindered. That one. You can be hithered, I suppose, if you want. You can hither. If you want to hither, you may.
You could
Also,
even yawn.
I'm going to rule because, good rolls all around so far. Roshan, you can use this extra dice on whatever you choose for your next roll. It doesn't have to be wisdom. So your next roll is a straight roll.
Well, I was planning on using wisdom anyway.
Wow.
I think
that's what I wanted.
I think it would be cool to try the Keld route of things and use insight to just trust the whims of the forest and let it guide me.
Trust that vision you had, bud.
Interesting. Okay. Straight roll. Golly, I do love when the forest is listened to. I am basing this on your other nat 20, where I said you would have a bit of a bump when it comes to things involving the forest, especially magically. I think the insight of and the magic of this forest are very intertwined. I will lower the DC to an 18.
Oh,
all right.
Forest loves to be seen and heard.
When she wants, but not otherwise.
The second digit is an 8, and it's 28.
Wow, look at her.
All right.
All right. The forest, at least what you are hearing, feeling, maybe you're making it up, is excited that you're making your way this way. It wants you to. It really wants you to. And that is unsettling and helpful.
Yeah, I think Roshan just quietly says to himself, yeah, this feels right.
And you are able to push forward. You need 2 successes before 2 failures.
Okay, guys.
Can I use any sort of nature skill to see if this feels right?
Raise his hand. Is this good?
Are we good? Are we all right? Do you want to know?
Yeah, what are you guys doing? What do you want? I'm here to listen.
I'm happy to roll an Arcana to do some some freezing of these puddles and mud to make our path
A little more
easier
solid.
and not more solid.
Are you
Mhm.
using spells to do this?
A cantrip.
Okay. Then no.
Can Fen use nature to kind of shore that up, like to
No,
assist?
it's okay. I only need to roll a 5. I got
Okay.
this.
All right.
Probably.
You
I didn't hear
Hold
the
on a minute.
argument, but what am I doing? It
Oh,
all paused.
Oh no, did we? Interesting.
I said I don't think I need help, even
Okay.
if
Even at disadvantage.
yeah. Because I'm so
And
smart with the spells.
and I'm lowering the DC to 18 because you were using spells.
Sweet.
So go ahead. Arcana. Arcana me.
That's an 11 and a 12, so or 11, 12 and a 14. So a lot.
A lot.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
You are
Okay.
able to, make the ground sturdy and steadfast in places where it seems that it would be difficult to cross, and you make it little bridges. I would say you turn the rivulets into bridges in places where need be. And you are able to push forward, walking across ice, a little slippery, but better than plunging into whatever this is. You are pretty sure of that. So here we are at the you need 1 success before 2 failures spot, which means if somebody rolls a nat 1, it's all for naught.
Yep. Sure does.
Next, who's doing it?
Can I help, Fen?
Can
No.
Oh.
can nature help in some way to navigate this this now fortified ice that Roshan has provided us with? But
I mean, nature's a good thing to be aware of how the ice do work.
I'm aware of how
Interspersed
ice
with
works,
the,
Jillian. I would like
interspersed with the twigs
spend a
and the
good
mud.
amount of time in the Valley of Odin.
That's true.
I've
That's
seen
true.
ice before.
It do a crunch and a slippy.
I'd be willing to accept that. No assists per se, but it does come together, so you can roll a nature check DC 20, unless you have something you want to throw on top of that, but
Nothing I can throw on top of it at the moment. So
very good.
it's not gonna make 20.
Okay.
Oh,
It is not a natural 1, but
that's
it's
good.
not gonna make 20.
That's unfortunate.
Well, Nana,
Uh-huh.
this is the place we've come to, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
1 success versus 1 failure. And it all depends on you.
Yep.
What
All
is your party rallying role? What is the thing that pushes them through as Sven cracks through the ice a bit and you watch his foot submerge and he has to pull it back and has to try to shake the water from his boots? You see ripples in the water around you, interested in that misstep. But nothing visible yet. Just a little farther to go.
Okay.
How do you push?
Okay. The final push, I think, is I will pitch as a stealth roll with Nana attempting to seeing this ripple that kind of jostles some of the looser parts of this water as a result of us knocking into it and causing ripples. Nana will kind of start steering the group a little bit further towards the more solid parts and trying to assist with like a more concentrated and careful approach the last leg of the way. We're very close. Just trying to get there. The last leg of the way as carefully as we can.
Anything you're throwing on top?
On top of that, I will enact a short use only of pass without trace.
So we are
I'm
concentrating Pass Without Trace real hard into this space. I'd be willing to let you have it and use it and have it affect you very positively,
mhm.
especially if you condense it into a short burst.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is a short burst. This is going to be, we are focusing on this. We are passing through this space. We are disturbing nothing. We are leaving nothing behind us. And when we are done, we disconnect and we proceed.
Okay. What spell slot level? What level spell is this that you're
I'm
using?
going to use a 3rd level spell slot for this.
Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do, because 3rd level spell slot's nothing to snoof at, you know?
Sure.
I'm going to roll a d4.
Okay.
3 times.
All right.
And I will take that away from 20.
Okay.
I am notoriously bad at d4 rolls, but maybe they will be kind to you because they aren't for me.
Who knows? I mean, a 16 is still better than a 20, is my thinking.
Sorry, now traction.
Sorry.
Oh no.
I shouldn't have
set
said
myself up.
numbers. My bad.
Okay. Just double checking my math, which sounds sad when I say what the number is.
Okay.
What do you add to stealth?
My stealth check is a +8. If I use Pass Without Trace, that would add on another 10, I think.
Okay. So I love presenting you options.
Yeah.
Either you can keep that +10.
Uh-huh.
You do not get this minus, and you still have to hit 20.
Mm-hmm.
Or you do not take the 10, and you accept this minus. It's up to you.
I will take the minus and do
Okay.
without the 10.
Okay. The DC is 11. It's kind of the nat 1 thing anyways, really. Pretty close.
Yeah. Let's see what we can do here, bud. Come on, honey.
She's stealthing so good. Where did she go?
She fully
She's
disappeared.
passing without trace.
Oh, you'd like to think that.
What'd you get on the dice?
A natural 1.
And that's where we're going to take our break. Thank you guys for being here. How about you go get a snack and a drink, and we will be back in 10 minutes. See you guys then.
Thanks. Ben.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 176 of On the Backs of Gods. We just took our 10-minute break and we ended on an interesting note at the end of the skill challenge, a nat 1 to end all nat 1s from Nana. But in this split second of time, let's talk about the other things that are going on in this moment. These snaking rivulets, these low-hanging branches. Some you can see into the water, you can see the bottom. Some you can't. Is it just murky or is it infinite? Some now covered in ice. Some originally covered in ice. In a few places, the water ripples on its own. And you push forward. Roshan. In this moment, this is a split-second thing. So I need an immediate answer from Roshan. You feel the shadow that has been pursuing Nana is about to drain the tank. Is going to take everything you've got to do something. Everything you have left. Anything you can do. It is going to try and pull everything from you. You can either allow it to happen or resist. Yes or no? Are you resisting?
No.
Nana, it is like a catch of fire on the back of your neck. Roshan, as you watch the shadow reach out and grab fully onto the scruff of Nana's neck and hold her back, as you see Nana's foot has stepped over one of the rivulets, and you now can just see the sharp, jagged edges of these roots beneath that, if she had stepped into and tripped, would have impaled her. And the amount of damage would have been staggering.
Oh boy.
But this heat grabs onto the back of her neck, pulls her back a bit. Nana, it's almost kind of like an instinctual tug, but with like a terrible warmth for a moment. And then that warmth fades. Roshan, you can't use anything, abilities, magic, nothing. It's all gone. Bard, warlock, I don't give a shit. Magic pearl you just got, it expends to get this power. You are used up. Nothing left.
Well.
But Nana does not, at this moment, impale herself. You will be getting some of the effects of this failure, though. So, Nana, you will take a level of exhaustion.
Okay.
For your failure in this, even though we are a team. And I need all of you to make dexterity saving throws. The DC has been lowered.
21.
18.
17.
Okay. You've pushed forward. This heat has rocketed through your spine, Nana, as you are pulled back. And all of you kind of like stop in this space for a moment.
Well, what was that? What?
The shadow saved you.
It did? Thank you, obviously. But how did it? I didn't think it could.
It usually can't, and I may be paying the price for that.
Sorry.
As long as we're still alive, let's keep going.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no sense in us just standing here. Let's go.
Roshan, we trust you to lead the way. Can you still do so?
I feel fine. I just feel it's like everything around me feels quieter. I can't hear people thinking. I can't hear the forest thinking. It feels like somebody put earmuffs on me and sunglasses, but I can keep moving.
Only if you're sure, and if you want one of us to take point and you guide us through, that's okay too. I don't mean to lose anybody else. Anybody today.
We won't lose anyone. Just watch my back, because in a scrap, I don't think I can do anything.
Then if anything comes up on us, you get behind me, okay?
Will do.
Right.
Nonna, just before we move, have any of them good berries on you?
Got a couple. I actually remembered to cast them last night.
Maybe distribute just in case. I don't think I've got it in me to pick somebody up if they fall, and doesn't sound like Roshan does either.
I don't think so, and that's all right. If one's all we need, one's all we need. Nana will give good berries to everybody, and she's glad that she can.
How many good berries? Giving everybody 3 or 1?
Yeah, given 3 for Fen and for Roshan. Nana's got 1 for herself.
Well, you'll have 4, maybe. Unless you've been using them, I don't know.
No, I don't think. No, wait, that's right. No, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I was
So
counting wrong. Yeah.
You're stacked.
Yeah.
Okay. And Roshan, you begin to lead forward. And with each step, you feel all 3 shadows slowly diminishing, as if they are trying to hold themselves together, but there's nothing to keep them tethered at this moment. And you get 3 different emotions from it. One of them is furious that this happened. One of them is conflicted, as it was a good outcome, but also puts you in danger. There's fear. And then there is smug content from a third. And they dissipate. This has happened before. You know they eventually come back, depending.
I think that's part of the quiet for Roshan is he's gotten used to them being in his periphery, him feeling them, and using them as extensions of his own, not consciousness, but his own perception. And it really does feel like someone has put a plastic bag over his head, and he has to try and see through it and hear through the crinkling, and everything's quiet.
Okay. And you continue forward. Nyx. You read that this curse was a painful way to go. And you haven't really experienced pain with this curse yet. There's sometimes the shock of it, like when you were fighting Ing and there was a shock of pain when the ice spread. And there's numbness, tingling, tenseness in joints. This is pain. This is anguishing, unending pain that you are currently pushing through. Everything hurts. Everything hurts. And occasionally you feel your mind wander and you get a little confused, and you are very certain you don't have much left. That if something happens again, what are you going to do? You don't have much to hold on to. And your mother sits with you and you drink tea. You are unable to keep any food down, so she stopped trying to do that. And time passes. And you sit together, and she tries her best to keep you warm and distracted with conversation. But eventually, as she is a very busy woman who has maybe too many hats on, somebody eventually comes to the door and is talking about an emergency. And she looks to you first.
You should go.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back, and I'll maybe if I see something interesting in the bushes along the way, maybe I'll bring that back and we can relax and talk a bit more. And she gives you a kiss on the forehead and squeezes your shoulder, and you can see she's very like thin-lipped right now, trying to hold her composure, and goes to deal with this emergency. Is there anything you do while you're alone, Nyx? Or is it just sitting with this?
I think for a while it's just sitting with it. I think she would just go to Keld's room because she doesn't want to be in her space alone because there's no one else there. But then needs something to distract the pain. And I think she's gonna wander over to her grandma's old place. Just spend time there instead.
Okay. You wander over to your grandparents' house. Still left vacant, but used for like storing things, mostly for your family. And there's so much cool shit in there. It's like, that can't, nobody else can move in because where are we going to put all this cool shit?
We gotta put all this weird thing.
There's so many skulls on this shelf, and I know I can't get rid of any of them. But you go in and you are able to walk through the space, and there are old books and journals in the chicken scratch that was your grandmother's handwriting, and there are jars full of dried herbs and bugs, and there's still some with liquids in them. You think if you had the time, and the concept of time you push away quickly, but if you had it, you'd be able to figure all this out. Maybe later. You think of a later, and you can hold on to that as you walk through the space, and you have memories of the stories, the spooky stories, the strange stories of little spirits in the woods and plants, and which plants not to eat and which plants are only for grandma to eat. You can't have those.
Maybe focus on that one and
yeah.
wish that we could eat something right now.
Yeah. You're like, am I allowed to still find leaf and eat it? But you sort of move through the space and you hear a sound. Perk up a bit. You are sort of deafened on one side, so maybe it's the ringing in your ear.
I'll look for it anyway.
Yeah. Give me a perception check with disadvantage.
That's so sex. The first one's a nat 20. Okay. 13 plus 10. So still 26, 23.
good.
Yeah, still
Mhm.
23, but not.
Yeah. You're kind of the part of your body no longer complies, hears, sees, really works. But that has not stopped you as you kind of hobble through the space. There's a sound. And you
I hate to be a buzzkill, but I think I've got it written that every time she uses a wisdom or
Charge
intelligence
complete.
I'm
skill,
poisoned now.
she gets
Nice.
poisoned for a minute.
Ah, nice. Yeah. You currently have disadvantage on attack rolls.
Uh,
Does that count for
And-
her passive perception though? Like,
Well, we
I mean,
weren't
I know
doing
you didn't
passive
ask for passive
perception.
perception, but
attack rolls and ability checks.
Nice.
Good to know. Thank you.
We're poisoned.
Keep me
now.
honest, guys. Keep me honest when it comes to Nyx's terrible, terrible
Yeah,
problems.
honestly, if there's a thing that could be negative, it's probably
we
affecting
can
me
just
now,
kind of
so
assume that you
Jesus.
should probably be
Having
In
a bad
pain, no matter
time.
what you do.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
should 5 have been taken away from that? I think it should have.
You're right. There's so many things.
You're
Which
right.
still
Also,
get
that
you, yeah. So -5 from 23. That's still not a bad.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
that's
Um,
18. Yeah.
So you still hear something. You are still able to begin to pinpoint it. And you move through the house. It is kind of the creak of the occasional floorboard or kind of dust that you have to brush out of the way. And you make it to a window. And you lean and you listen. You hear crying. Familiar weeping. In the direction of the woods.
Is it the direction that that we went earlier, or is this the direction of a certain river?
Currently, I would say it's almost coming from just like the closest point of the forest. It seems very nearby. You can't see anything, but you hear it.
Man. I think she's gonna go outside and see if there's anyone nearby. Because people never believed me about this crying.
There are people outside, out and about doing things. Your grandparents built a house a bit
Yeah.
further out, per your grandmother's request. You could start walking and go get someone. That's doable. But nobody is like
Nobody important.
without like
Yeah.
nobody important, and you'd have to like shout at them and be like, hey, random citizen.
Assist me.
I think she's gonna go in a little bit. You know? What does she have to lose at this
Yeah.
point?
You begin to walk in the direction of the crying. Are you going to get to the edge of the woods, or are you content stepping into the woods? It's not the brushwood yet. It's just dim woods.
Yeah, for now, yeah, it's not the brushwood, so she'd step in.
Okay. You make your way into the woods, and slowly the weeping gets louder. Desperate weeping. gut-wrenching weeping. And you see, just a bit ahead, a tree, just like the others in the area. And it begins to flicker on the trunk and peel itself open. A door opens in the trunk of this tree, and the weeping quiets.
Think she has an idea of where it's going to take her
Mm-hmm.
with her current state. This is where I was trying to go anyway. It's gonna step through and hope.
Okay.
She's got her stuff on her. We never took it off.
Okay. You step forward and through the tree, leaving Demwoods behind. Meanwhile, 3 adventurers trudge through the woods, one of them no longer magically inclined, more of a kind of civilian vibe, but he has a cool ring, and he has a sword, so he
Yeah.
could swing a sword.
He's a smart
he has-
boy.
He can ask to not be murdered if something tries to engage.
Nana
And
will step in. She will interpose herself. She will have opinions about people wanting to step up to Roshan.
Roshan, I would say all of you, start to become keenly aware that you're not alone in this space.
Okay.
Something else is here. There's always been something else here, but now something seems to have put you more in the prey category, is what you feel, that tingle on the back of your neck. Would you like to start stealthing, or are you pushing through?
I think Roshan is kind of leading as confidently as he can because there's not much else that we've got, and like if the Rangers think it prudent to stealth, he will listen to that, but otherwise he will continue leading confidently without stealth.
Might be difficult for us to maintain going forward, but we could give it a shot. And if our cover's already blown, we can just double time it and hope for the best. What do you think, Fen?
Well, for following Roshan, he's the only one that seems to have any sort of guidance coming from anywhere.
We won't see it coming very quickly. I'm not too keen on looking too deep into these shadows, so if it comes up on us, it'll be pretty fast. Whether we're stealthing or not, so...
I can make light very quickly in one direction. I discovered that recently.
Oh.
Okay. If you... I just don't want to make enemies of anything that the light tends to strike.
Yeah, right. Well, useful distraction just on the off chance. Okay. Let's just go forward. Let's just try keep moving. If it seems more prudent, we make our way more stealthily and maybe make use of a distraction to cover us. Maybe that'll work out for the best.
I don't even like this bow. I wish I had Rufio back. It's going to be a whole thing to get him back.
Well, as soon as we polish off Bosch, then it'll be easy sailing from there.
Yeah, we got so much to do before then.
I know. Let's just keep going.
Hey, Roshan, show us the way, bud.
Yeah. You've got this.
Roshan will keep moving. Are we stealthing or not?
I don't think we should yet. If we
Okay.
need to, then let's reposition. But for right now, continue on.
Roshan will worry his worry stone and follow the ring.
Yeah.
Walks like he
Worrystone,
belongs there.
Yeah.
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 Moving forward.
Because we were invited.
Yeah.
Kinda. We
Um,
were told we could come through. Kind of.
yeah, okay. You begin to make your way forward still through the rivulets, staying pretty safe. And a bit of red catches your eye, Roshan. Like red threads in the water, like veins. Your eyes follow it. And you see multiple red masses, like long, stringy moss in the rivulets. You were given a description for water crimson. This is astronomically larger than the description you were given. These are very, very large water crimson. You could fit it in a nice big jar, of course, but they were kind of described to you as like kind of like stringy moss balls. These extend through the rivulets multiple feet. There are so many of them. There's a large number of them. And they gently drift in the water.
Nana, we've got jars, right?
Oh yeah, lots. Yeah. Nana goes going through her pack, and I think it's not impossible that the both of them see that there's a lot more than just the jars in her pack. There's like a lot of weird odds and ends that she's picked up. And she doesn't mention anything about that. She's just getting out as many jars as she can find.
Yeah, we'll figure that out when we're not dying in the woods. Roshan says, I planned on trying to use magic to collect it, but
yeah. Not
I'm tapped.
Yeah.
Any other ideas?
Well. Is there any way that I would know if the plants could have been created magically originally?
I'm going to say you do not know enough about water crimson.
Cool. All right.
As somebody who heard about it secondhand from people who
Yeah.
were barely talking to you at the time,
Yeah.
knowledge
Not a
is
lot.
little minimal.
Yeah. Minimal on the intel there. I know I've got I don't know, man. I've not really got anything in the way of like protection from like poison or anything like that. I know that I've got I don't know. I could try and just double up on gloves, maybe. Try and be
Who's got the
as
Roshan has the bag of holding?
Held has the
does.
bag of holding.
God damn
Mother.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
I have the portable resilience sphere, but I don't think that's going to be helpful here.
if you could get it to last, until we next see our debtor. That would
it's
work.
it's just, I mean, it's an object. I armed it a bit ago, but I expect it'll just stay in there, I think.
I think once you use it, it will disappear.
Haven't I used the thing before?
So, Nana, you at minimum know that when someone is captured or if something is captured,
Mm.
it lasts for like a minute
Okay.
and then it gets small. It does not make them small and keep them in there.
Yeah.
They are expelled.
Ah, got it.
It is a temporary trap.
Okay. Which could let us get some of it out of the water and onto dry land. Not so good for keeping in permanently. hmm. No,
I've got a kukri, I've got 2 bows, I've got, I could use a bow to sort of fish it out, unless someone's got, there's gonna be all other sticks here that are less craftsmanship.
I've got my spears. Nana just pointing to like the spears on her belt, on her back. If that's all we're doing is just fishing some out and dragging it onto land.
Got a fairly steady hand, even at the worst of times. Maybe set a jar down, everyone stand back, fish some out, drop it into the jar. I don't know. Is this what matters now?
Well,
Why are we wasting time here? We need to find Keld.
We do need to find Keld.
We need to find Rose. Well,
we do need to find Rose as well.
This is
This is another thing. This is something that Nyx mentioned specifically. And if
this
we're in
is
here
something
for Nyx,
that we need,
and
the woods led us here.
Yeah. So
let's
take the boom.
Be safe and not look a gift horse in the mouth, and be quick, and then we'll keep moving.
Yeah.
We may never have this chance again, and then we're wanted criminals.
Yeah. So ideally, we'd rather not be sought after by the law on account of wrecking a shop in a town. So
I'll take full personal responsibility for that if it means one of us doesn't get hurt here and now.
Ben, it's not going to resolve like that, but that's very kind of you. So let's just get this stuff out of the water and
make it
get it
not
easy.
hurt. If we can't do it safely, we're not going to do it at all. That's my point.
I am fairly certain that I can assist in making this safe.
So set a jar down.
Yeah.
I use one of your spears. Try to fish some out.
Okay.
And put
Charge
it in a
complete.
jar. If you think is that the best way to do it? Do we have a better way? I had a fishing rod that might have worked better, but it's in the bag of holding, which we don't have.
Yeah. So for right now, we're improvising and spearfishing. So.
Okay.
I think it's more of a scooping rather than a stabbing, but
do as you do, Fen.
Really, I'm as lost as any of us here. It's the best I can come up with. Is there anything else anyone can think of?
Oh, honestly, I've not got anything else that would be of use in this situation. I've got a spear. You want the spear? Nana holds it out to him.
Fen looks at the spear in his hand like he's never held or even seen a spear before in his life, and wonders what the fuck he's doing. And he's going to try to scoop some of this water crimson out with the spear and try to.
Nana's going to work in tandem with
6-foot length.
him. Yeah. Nana's going to work in tandem with him
jar.
With another spear in order to get this like a pincher so that we're not just like having it slough off the end.
So 2 people, good to know. I would like both of you to roll me dexterity saving throws.
Righto.
Saving throws. Okay. I'm fine with that. 24.
I'm gonna get this dice smudged. That is a nat 1. At least you know I'm honest. I could be fudging over here. But no, I'm
Okay.
keeping it real for you, cultists. You're welcome.
Okay. Well,
I don't think
it
anybody
is what
doubted
it
your
is.
honesty at any point in the 4 years we've been doing this.
It's true.
So both of you, spears in hand,
Mhm.
are trying to chopsticks
Some water crimson into this here jar.
and it takes a couple tries. You get one up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just these long tendrils, and you guys are like, okay, so after we get it in, we're gonna have to just try to scoop all the tendrils in. And so
Yeah.
you pick it up,
Okay.
and you're staying pretty in tandem.
Okay.
And then Fen straightens up
Mm-hmm.
from crouching, and you straighten up from crouching. And Fen is a little taller than you, and you don't account for that.
Oop.
And there's a slight discrepancy in the heights.
Oh. Okay.
The water crimson slips from the tips of the spears,
Uh-huh.
rolls down the shaft,
Oh shit.
and you feel a gentle prick. Just a gentle prick.
Fuck.
You take 1 point of piercing damage.
Uh-huh.
Make a constitution saving throw.
Cool. I'm so good at those. Let's see. Using a different
I'm telling
dice.
you, this DC is high. And I know for
Uh,
you are going to need to roll very high for this. I'm telling you
Yep.
this now.
All right. We'll see what we do.
It is doable. I think. I haven't looked at your stats today, but I
My
think
con
doable.
is my con saving throw is a +2. So
So
we'll
you
see.
need a nat 20.
Well, I'm not using the Nana dice on this one.
You're owed.
We'll see. No, that is a 7 on the dice +2 is a 9.
And with a little thud, the water crimson just kind of splats back into the mud. And you're
Gods,
like,
damn it.
ow, like a little pain.
Yeah.
And then starts to kind of throb a little bit like a burn.
Oh.
And it gets worse rapidly. Worse and worse. And it is the most debilitating pain you have ever felt. And I would like you to you tell me, what would you like to roll to not scream?
To not scream, golly. Okay.
I'm making the DC the same number. The DC is 22.
And this is among saving throws. Or
If you can convince me of a skill, sure. But, I really would need convincing, and it'd have to be good. Like,
I would like to argue. I would like to argue survival. It would give me a +7. She's aware that there is something pursuing us. She's aware that something is aware of our presence. If she screams, we are dead. And that is bad survival.
Does Fen notice that Nana is in rapidly increasing pain?
This happens kind of split second. So there's not much anybody else can do yet.
Okay.
I will let you roll survival. The DC is 22.
All right. I stand a better chance with that. We'll see if the dice agree. Does not match a 22. It is an 18.
Okay. Then you kind of watch the boop, 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 and not like just like a quick inhale. and then inhales deeply and screams. And that's where we're stopping for tonight. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story. If you'd like to hear more of that story, you can head over to youtube.com/The Dice Cult and watch all past episodes of On the Backs of Gods, some one-shots, discussions, Vampire the Masquerade, whatever you're looking for. Is probably something you might like if you're interested. If you want to keep up with us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. If you'd like to keep up with all of us, we are at The Dice Cult on Instagram and Twitter. If you go to the chat or the box below, you can get some beautiful dice that have decided that Nana will suffer, and so will the party around her, and good for those dice. I'm only here for dice that tell stories. I don't want anything else. So if you want some of those, you can head over to that link. Thank you again for being here. We appreciate it, and we love telling you a story. We'll be here same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you guys next time. Good night, everyone.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.